You to me are everything, the sweetest song that I could sing. Oh, baby. Where's Patrick? There he is. That's why I'm singing this song. I love him. Come, let me hug you. Come, Patrick, come. Give me some love. I love you. See? No, see Manchester every week. Patrick. No more Manchester. Patrick. Today, huh? Terrific.
Is it croissant or croissant?
Croissant.
It's a croissant.
Croissant. Huh? Patrick, you want some toffee popcorn?
No, thank you.
Do you train a lot, Patrick?
No.
You don't train?
No. I will say to Roy, I played a little bit of paddle.
That's it?
I try to play one
Everyone
twice
loves
a week.
paddle,
I
don't
know.
You played that in the World Cup, didn't you, Nev?
That's good.
Yeah.
You were mate to everybody.
Oh, yeah, he's trying to be
He was.
friend. He was.
Who did you play with in the World Cup?
Prince or something, wasn't it?
Ronaldo's down there.
Oh, cool.
Brazilian Ronaldo. Ronald de Boer.
But you weren't playing with them, were you?
No, I was playing with Bex was down there.
You the ball boy, or were you playing?
It's true, guys.
Never happened.
See, Patrick comes and the insults start again. We'll both have to be pinned up against the tunnel wall in about 5 minutes. So you don't train then? I thought you trained.
No.
And you don't train either, do you?
No.
I mean,
just
you
eat well.
Are we doing it wrong?
I trained this morning.
Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm. You don't train, do you?
Yeah, I do.
You do train.
Yeah, we'll have a bit of tea.
Obviously, my knee
Thank
at the
you.
minute, but like, yeah, do a bit of, especially some bike and stuff, just a little bit, just to...
I need to start though, lads, I have to say. I'm gonna join the gym or something. I have to. Not good.
People say the most important thing as you get older is weight.
Roy, the perfect time
Muscles, yeah.
is Berlin when you're away,
Yeah.
3 or 4 weeks, and we'll join.
I'll join you. That's definitely a plan.
You're gonna do that?
Yeah.
I'm just going to
Definitely.
sauna. I'm not going to do that.
Who do you think came out on top in those battles? No, I'm asking serious now in terms of in-games. Was the games where you thought, he's done me today?
It would bring the best out of you. That's what the game's about.
I loved it.
What are the things that you think you could have done better yourself?
Choosing the people that you're going to work for and not the club that you are going to work for. Going to Arsenal, I was quite really impressed by the unprofessional.
Who received the most yellow cards, Patrick or Roy?
I'm going to say Patrick.
Obviously, because of United controlling all the referees and all the stuff like that. So
That's the first ever lawsuit on Stick to Football.
I didn't like you at all.
Same here, yeah.
This week's episode of Stick to Football, brought to you by SkyBet, is an absolute Premier League Arsenal legend and one of the very best French internationals that will ever play the game, Patrick Vieira.
Fantastic! Patrick, I was watching it the other day. They showed, obviously, when it was the, I think it was the United when we won at United, and then Patrick came into the
When
camera.
did you ever win at United?
I know, yeah.
When
Did you ever win at United?
Oh, yeah, right. He won.
No, it doesn't make that. Arsenal won at United, and we won the league there, just to throw that in as well. But that was the one. I was watching it the other day.
I
Patrick.
saw it again, yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
What does that mean?
Patrick, you're the first ever guest on this show from
It's
Arsenal.
not from Man United, yeah.
Ian, what was it first like when you met Patrick and he walked into the changing room?
It was unbelievable because obviously Patrick's size and how Patrick was. We thought he was a centre half. We didn't realise that we're seeing a hybrid in respect. So we're not going to see. We haven't seen that before, and we're not seeing that after in respects of how he played. And we thought that we was thinking that they're probably going to try and kick him to bits in this league because of how he played.
We tried.
You did try.
We tried.
And because Patrick is so...
He tried.
Patrick is so smooth, he's so beautiful. I knew that it was going to be hard work for him, but it wasn't. No one's been like Patrick in the way he's played.
What year was that, sorry? What year would you have come
That
back?
would have been
96,
95,
96, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get into the interview in a minute, but do you remember the game that you played at Old Trafford when Phil and John O'Shea played against you? Do you remember?
Yeah, I get battered by Phil.
Phil was battering everyone, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember, yeah.
The motivator. It's funny because you hear that a lot with people with Phil. They say, yeah, Phil. I remember watching what Phil done with our dear friend who passed away, Rhea. You know what I mean? You lot kicked him to bits. That's what you lot tried to do to Patrick. You kicked him, kicking him all the time.
You were better than us, though, at the time.
Yeah, think we was on our way.
Yeah.
We was on our way, you know.
Patrick, Strasbourg, how is it?
The city is a lovely city. I don't know if any of you
That's
been
what I say
to
about
Strasbourg,
Valencia,
but
Patrick.
it's a lovely city. It's a nice place to live for the family.
Yeah.
Really small town, really close to Germany. And really family really enjoyed our stay there. And then, of course, I went there because of the coaching. And Strasbourg, 10 years ago, was quite in a really lower level. So they make their way up in the last 10 years. So there's a big change because now one of the ownerships is the Todd Boehly at Chelsea. So we are part of the Chelsea family. So the ambition is to play European football in the next 3 years. 3 years.
Yeah.
And of course, coming from this year, there's a big turnover of young players. And this year was quite really challenging, really difficult. We struggled. We went through some really difficult period. But hopefully we will keep our best young players. We're going to try to improve the team and try to finish in the top 10 next year. And why not play the European football in 2 years' time from today?
You've obviously had a few jobs now in coaching. Do you still find it as difficult as you did at the beginning, or are there bits of it now that you feel, no, I'm more experienced, I sort of have learned a lot and I'm actually able to cope with it better?
I've been learning every job I've been so far. You learn about the people. And the true faces of people, you really get it when you are in a really difficult period. Because it's nice when you come in from like the honeymoon, everything is perfect, everything is nice, you have an ideas and you try to work. And then when you go through those difficult periods, you see people start to change a little bit. People start to lose faith, lose confidence on you. And that is what is really difficult, is that the support is not the same.
Where from? Up above in the club, or?
Above the club, yes, above the club. The players, you always find the way to manage the players and to make them understand that you have to stick together to go through that difficult period. But it's really like managing everything above you because of the pressure coming from the fans, coming from the press. And sometimes politics is part of the games that it's been really difficult to deal with and to understand what's going on above my head.
Have you got examples of that during your coaching career?
I talking to Nice. I was in Nice again, changing ownership, changing players. Wanted to have a younger team, and sometimes when you want to have a younger team, people don't understand that you need times to make them understand what football is all about. And the first year everything was quite really good. The second year, when the results start to be a little bit down, you start seeing people coming less often in your office.
Wow.
But that is the game, and I think that is how it is. And I think it's important, and what I learned is try to make the emotions on the side and just being focused and try to get the result, because people changing their mind, and it was quite the same at Palace as well. I really enjoyed the first years at Palace, because coming at Palace, the Premier League, everyone wants to coach in the Premier League. And the first year with changing the ideas of the game, the way we wanted to play. The people there wanted to change everything.
The style, basically.
The style, but they wanted as well to do it with the young team and the young players. And I think it was good. And of course, when it was a bit challenging, a bit difficult, they decided to go in a different way, and that was quite really difficult for me to understand and to accept. But this is how the game is.
I think we all felt that was harsh at the time when you lost your job at Palace. And listen, Roy Hodgson came in, obviously we all know him really well as well, and he did a really good job. But did you feel it was tough because the next run of games were games that I think we all looked at and thought they're games that'll keep Palace up? Because you had a really tough run of fixtures, hadn't you, against the top teams?
But this is what I said, politics is part of the game, and smart people making the right decision at the right time. And it was the right time to get rid of me, because of the remaining games left. So if you change the manager, people will say, oh, he made the right decision, because the games there, when you manage to win those games, it will make people feel that was the right decision. So I believe that from what they wanted to do. They did it at the right time regarding the remaining games left. So that will give them the credibility from the people from outside, and that was really difficult for me to accept.
Was it Patrick? Was you when you saw those games and those run of games come? Was it the kind of thing you're thinking, okay, we get through this, but we've got this run of games, so we'll probably do well in these games? And was you thinking this?
Yes, of course, I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about as well. We had some really tough game. We had some young players. The teams dramatically changed. We didn't improve the squad very much, so we was going through a process, right. And sometimes the process is not there. So it's tough. It's really difficult to be a manager today because of the pressure from outside.
You know, when you speak there about the decision at Palace, and I just think of Steve Parish as almost running that club. But is there Americans involved at the club as well? At Crystal Palace?
I only dealt with Steve and Dougie. The Americans, they were there, but I didn't deal with them in every day.
Do you think
business.
They would be putting pressure on that decision almost from outside, even though they don't deal with it?
I can't say it because I don't know. I really don't know. I know that there's a board who's making a decision, and I think he will take more than one person to make a decision, but obviously the main man who's running the football club is Steve Parish.
When you're in a job, and obviously I've been in it briefly, when you're in a job and you feel like the results aren't going well, how do you deal with that? Obviously you've had challenges this season, you've had challenges at Palace. How do you deal with it personally? You're obviously one of the most ferocious, greatest players in the Premier League history. How do you deal with it differently as
when things are not doing well?
Yeah. How do you cope with that? How are you in yourself?
I think it's just about believing about what I wanted to do. I always knew where I was going and how tough it was going to be. And of course, going through a difficult period is about believing about what you want to do and bringing people even more together. Because with the experience that I had in every single difficult period that we had as a player, the togetherness, the team spirit managed and helped to go through that difficult period. And during the season, you will have a difficult period during the season, but it's about how do you manage it. And for me to manage it is reinforces those positive messages that you want to allow yourself to bounce back and win football matches again. And of course, you know, when you coach Strasbourg or Palace or Nice, you know that during the season, it will be tough because of the team, the squad that you have to work with. And you have to compensate those bits that you don't have with the team spirit to compete. And bringing people together for me was the main man and the team. And of course, as a manager, the responsibility is about how do you maximize the potential of individual players for the good of the team. And I think in Nice, I managed to do it quite really well. And I'm quite really proud about what I achieved at Palace. I think I did quite really well over there. A lot of great players that have gotten to become managers find it frustrating, obviously, because you play at such a level, you know the game inside out. Have you found it difficult working with players? You've just talked about it at clubs where the talent level maybe isn't at the level that you actually were at yourself. It was, I think I needed to do some work on myself about you're not a player anymore, you are a coach. I think the most difficult challenge for me was to think about as a manager and not as a player. The challenge was to put myself in the cupboard and to close that cupboard and to really focus on being a manager. And that's why I always, even when I'm talking to players, I never bring my career on the table. Because I don't think it's good to talk about me. It's about them. And that is, I managed to do that. Because I did my badges with David Ginola. And I knew that David wouldn't be a manager because he was all about himself. You know what I mean? So it was something that when I decided to go into that route, I knew that I needed to put myself on the side and focus in on about other people.
Do you ever doubt the decision that you've made to be a coach? You think sometimes, I wish I'd just done had an easier life. I wish I'd gone and done television. I wish I'd done something else. Do you regret the decision at any point when you're in the job, or do you think, no, I know exactly where I'm going. I'm going to be a coach?
I don't have any regret.
No.
I don't have any regret because I take the process to really challenge myself and to question myself if this is what I wanted to do. So finish it at City. For 2 years, I was an ambassador. Fantastic job. And then for 2 years, I went through different departments and in the academy. And then after I went to New York. So the process was there to question myself about if this is something that I really wanted to do. So all the answer was positive. So I don't have any regrets.
Why did you leave the City Group? I thought you would have stayed within the City Group in different jobs and different roles.
Yeah, but I wanted to, when I decided that I really wanted to coach, my aim was to coach at the higher level. I wanted, and I still want to coach teams that play the Champions League. So to do that, I needed to challenge myself. And I was in New York, I was in the City Group, and everything was perfect for me. It was a dream for somebody who stopped his career and to find a place where you can learn, where you can express yourself. And City really did everything to allow me to choose what I really wanted to do. So after a couple of years with New York in the MLS, there was an opportunity to come back in Europe and to go to Nice. And I wanted to challenge myself with more pressure. And going back to France was a next step, because then after that allowed me to come to go to Palace.
Where are you at on the journey as a coach? Do you think do you feel yourself getting better, more experienced?
Yeah, I think it's, of course, all those experiences making me a better coach, no doubt about it. But of course, success, winning, doing well will open the door for the bigger stage, I will say it. But at the moment, yes, it's been really challenging. It's been a long journey, but I enjoyed and I really like what I'm doing.
What are the things that you think you could have done better yourself in your first few jobs?
Making a better decision about the people that I'm working with.
On your team, on your staff?
The staff, but mostly choosing the people that you're going to work for and not the club that you're going to work for. I think choosing the people is massively important because, of course, you will need support, and you need support in a difficult period, and people who can trust and believe what you try to do. So I believe I make a couple of mistakes choosing.
You won't know that, Patrick, until you're in the job. Do you know it's
Yeah,
easy to try and
but
pick.
at times it's good to listen to people advice.
Right.
And of course, you sometimes want the job so badly because it's the Premier League or because it's France. And then you take in the job and thinking that you will make it a success. But it's not that easy because you need a team around you to help you to be successful.
But I still don't think you know the people until you walk with them.
Yeah.
You meet people for an interview, you think everyone's got big plans, and hopefully you're going to be a success at a club. But then the difficult period, you want them people to say, hey, we've got your back, which is very, very difficult to anticipate which people are going to support you and who aren't.
Yeah, and we're living as well in the industry where everybody knows everybody. You know, we all know our reputation. And maybe I needed to do a better work around the people in this football club to know what I can expect when I get there. But sometimes a desire to be a manager in the Premier League or in the French league is above what you expect to think. And you always think that you can change people or you trust people. But you really learn about people when you are in a difficult period.
Yeah. Looking at you as a coach, it's easy for me to say this, but is it the City Group and Pep Guardiola's style of play that has influenced you most as a coach?
No, because when you look at Pep and what he achieved and the team that he achieved, those trophies that he won with the players that he had, we all don't have those players. So it will be impossible to play or to try to play like
he does.
Pep.
Because he's got the quality players to do it.
He's got the quality players to do it.
So
and
who's influenced you most, Patrick, as a coach?
I think I will say that maybe Arsene, because I spent 9 years with Arsene as a manager, and the way that he was coaching and the way that he was conducting himself with the players, I will say it is the manager who has the most influence on me today as a manager.
And what specifically, I mean, obviously we know Arsene Wenger's one of the great managers, we were talking about him earlier, but what specific things do you remember that Arsene did that you think, I like that?
But it's about the confidence and the self-belief that he has on the players, and especially young players. Mistakes that you're making, and he doesn't give that trust away. He's a really good communicator, and he always managed to find the right words to push you to full your potential.
He's never
and
negative.
to be really ambitious. He's never negative,
Never.
and I think that is positive, especially as a manager when you're surrounded by young player. But on the other side, I had Mourinho at Inter, and he was ruthless, because it's about competition, it's about winning. So I took some of that as well, that if you want to win, I think you need a little bit of that kind of ruthlessness to make decisions about performances, because with Arsene, you will play 1 or 2 games, you will be not play at your best, but he will still play you the next game. Mourinho, if you not play well the first game, but the second game you may not going to play. So you are still as well under pressure to perform, and I think that is quite important to be at the top as well, because it's about the competition.
Do you feel, because obviously you said it went really well at City and the other jobs you had in Nice, obviously Palace. Is it Palace specifically that you feel let down by, that you feel in that moment you should have been supported?
Yeah, but I don't feel sorry for myself, because this is the industry and this is the world that we are living at. It's about me try to make the right decision. And of course, that experience will make me a better manager. When I sat down with the people at Strasbourg, I had a lot of questions as well about the direction of the club, where they want to go, what will happen in this kind of circumstances. And of course, that experience at Palace helped me to have a better structure when I'm sitting down with the people at Strasbourg about how I can
massage them.
My contract.
Yes.
And I think there's a part of that as well, is about managing and building this kind of relationship with the people above. And maybe I didn't do it well enough at Palace to allow me to stay longer in the job. And that is something that I have to learn about.
They say that's the hardest part of management, managing upwards, whatever with the group of players, but having them good relationships with chairman, ownership, chief executives. Yeah, it's not easy.
Do you mean when you say about your contract, structuring your contract with Strasbourg, do you mean that there is a bigger penalty on them to make that decision to sack you in some ways?
No, it's not about just the money. It's about how do you structure the relationship. You will want to meet the people who are running the football club. You will want to have a conversation with them to know where we are and where the club want to go and what they will put in place to allow you to get where they want to go. Because sometimes you have a really good idea, you have a really big plan, but sometimes you don't want to make the funds to achieve that target. Yeah. So then it became really difficult.
So you wanted it to be transparent around the transfer budget, their plans and goals for the next 2 to 3 years?
And as a young manager, sometimes you don't really get involved in that because you just want to get concentrated on the
job.
Coaching and on the job. But you have to get involved, and it's important for me to be aware of it, because that, as well at the same time, will dictate the success. Because today, if there is no investment, it's difficult to be successful as a team.
At Palace, was there a case where would there be people at the club would try and dictate which players are coming and going? Would it be something as simple as that, where they wouldn't even speak to you about? No? Was that a problem?
One of the challenges at Palace is that they will try at time to dictate the players that
coming and going.
And I think as a manager, I should have responsibility on that, because at the end of the day, I'm the one who are on the field coaching. At the same time, I'm the one who going to face the press as well, getting the consequences. And it's difficult to have people who want to make all the decision, but then not taking the consequences or not sitting in front of the fans or the press to explain what's going on. So it became really difficult, I think, at time.
Okay.
I mean, Todd Bowley, they've had challenges at Chelsea, the Todd Bowley ownership group, but it's actually the season's ended well for them. What was it when you sat down with them? Is it Todd Bowley specifically that obviously owns Strasbourg, but is it him specifically that you sat down with to actually be interviewed for the job?
No, the guy that I sat down with was Mark Keller. He's still the chairman of Strasbourg, and it's him that I've been talking with, doing all the interview. But of course, the Blue Co are the one who make the final decision. So of course we are in contact. And I'm talking to them, and the relationship has been really positive so far. And of course, it's the first year that they are in Strasbourg. With all the difficulties that we faced this year, they've been quite really supportive.
Looking at now, are you ready for a break? Or are you going to be doing some television in the summer?
No, I'm ready for the break. I need a break. It's been a really challenging season. And but I will be really close. So I'll be going watching the games, but I will not going to do any TV work. It's not that I'm not enjoying Roy company, but I will prefer to be
relax
with the family.
Is the hardest part, Patrick, actually having to do the media like 3 times a week before and after matches, particularly if you're on a difficult run? Is that one of the most challenging things that you have in the job, or do you find that?
No, I find it. I don't find it quite really difficult.
Okay.
I think it's all about knowing what you want to say and then just to try to repeat the same answer and to give the same answer all the time. But I don't find it quite, that's not the most difficult part of the job.
Okay, let's get to Arsenal. Let's go back. Let's go back in time. You joined at a time where Arsenal, well, they hadn't been successful for a number of years. What did you find when you first went to Arsenal?
Listen, coming to England, going to Arsenal, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't have a clue about the Premier League, because in France, the biggest league was the Italian league, the Serie A. The Serie A was the most followed league in France. So at that period, I knew nothing about Arsenal. So arriving there, I was quite really impressed by the unprofessional.
Did you say impressed by the unprofessionalism? Or?
Yes, because I came from AC Milan.
Yeah.
And AC Milan was like players arriving there 1 hour, 2 hours before training, well dressed. Costa Curta was coming every day in the training with the suit and the tie. They was like they were like having their lunch after training, and some of them was sleeping in the training ground before going back home. It was quite really really professional, yeah. And this is where I really learn really the job. And coming to Arsenal, and it was quite really the opposite. It was different.
Talk to us about it.
Well, they didn't have. We weren't turning up to training suit and tie. That's for sure.
You didn't turn up on time, Tony Adams said.
The approach and the mentality was completely different, and I felt really comfortable with it, and I loved it. It was quite really
relaxed,
laid back. It was all about what's going on the field, and it was about the passion and not thinking about tomorrow. Is about we are in training, we give 100%, we can train well, we can train bad. There were some mistakes, there was some technical mistakes, but always giving 100%. And that's completely different from the Italian culture that I learned before.
The players at that time still would have been probably going out for a drink after the game, wouldn't they?
Yeah, of course. We around I think the Christmas period.
Yes.
TJ Fridays in London.
TJ Fridays
in London. Straight away after training, but French players, we were coming for the dinner.
Yes.
But the guys, they were meeting like straight away after training.
1 o'clock.
So they would be
hammered.
eating and drinking until we get there. And this is when it was time for them to go home, and this is where we started to party.
Well, just talk to us about. I'm always interested, obviously, being a defender. The defence that you obviously had behind you. I know you and Emmanuel Petit played a brilliant role in front, but just talk to us about that back five: Winterburn, Dixon, Keown, Adams, and obviously Bold, and Seaman.
To be honest, I still don't understand how Nigel and Lee managed to play at that level. No, but
That's what he says about me.
I'm going to rephrase it.
No, we're keeping that in.
No, but what I mean is that in training, they were like 20% of... They were the two players that they were like 20% of what they were doing in the weekend. When they were training in the week, they was like, have a back issues, have a knee issues, have an ankle issues. Yeah. So they was always protecting themselves.
Yeah.
But coming to the weekend, I said, they can't play. But they were like amazing. And for me, as a holding midfielder with Manu at the time, we were feeling like strong. It was easy for us to play knowing what was behind us, because they were like competitors. They were like going to... There's people that you can go to fight with because you know that they will have you back. And they were warriors. They was like, there's no one games that you will go and getting scared and getting afraid, because you're looking around and you said, there's people there who will look after you back. So it was easy for us to be really challenging, because if there was something there, if there was a confrontation, we know that there will be people around us. So it was really easy to play behind those guys.
What was your first game? The first time I picture watching you,
Sheffield.
was it?
Yeah, I was on the bench. I came on
because
I think David Platt was injured.
Was it Platty?
Or Ray Parlour.
Ray Parlour.
Ray Parlour was injured.
I always remember there was a game away at Blackburn. Was that maybe your second or third? Did you score 2 away at Blackburn, 2-0?
Yeah, I did. That was Wenger's first game.
That was Wenger.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Wenger had bought you even though he knew he was coming, didn't he?
Yes, we spoke on the phone, and because Arsene was the manager at Monaco and I was playing for Cannes. So we knew each other. And I met him a couple of times in Milan, and he was telling me that he will be the Arsenal manager, that he will want me to come. But I get there before him, and I came with Remy Gard.
Remy Gard, yeah. Remy.
And Arsene arrived a couple of months later, yeah.
I remember Arsene Wenger said that Patrick's the one who's going to give him credibility, because obviously Patrick came and he had to wait.
Yeah.
And so this is why everybody is waiting to see how Patrick's going to perform. And then obviously that Sheffield Wednesday game kind of showed people what was happening.
Yeah, but
so
I was on the bench the first couple of games, and I was started to get frustrated because I wasn't playing.
Could you? I think when I was at Liverpool and players come in, and it's even in the training session, so you're not starting games, but you're training every day. Was he one of those that came in and it's almost straight away you think, wow, because we've got something here? Yeah,
because what you're thinking, and now it makes sense now when Patrick say he was frustrated. I never actually saw it at the time that he was frustrated, but he was playing in training at a very, very high level, to the point where you're thinking, well, surely he's gonna break in soon. He's gonna have to start soon. But like I think the word was they wanted him to make sure that he's watching and see what's going on, see the aggressivity and everything was going on. But then once that game, I don't think after that game that was it, Pat. He was in the team after that, because we knew, said it's only a matter of time before he gets in. You could see that it was.
But I say what my first recollection was, I saw the highlights probably on Match of the Day, and I think you scored 2 in this back. No. Oh, you scored 1.
No.
3.
Thank you.
Was that game 3?
Yeah, I scored a hat-trick in the game. Don't take it away, you know what I mean? We're
trying to big up Patrick. That game was 2-0. But I remember you playing a pass.
I'm being told you scored 2.
In that game?
Yeah.
How are you going to tell... How's someone going to tell you I scored 2 when I know I scored a hat-trick?
This guy's pretty clever.
It was my 100,
he's got a computer in front of him.
100 and,
I thought you won away 2-0.
It was my 150th goal for Arsenal, the hat-trick.
Well, was one of them outside of the right foot pass from you?
No, that was the Blackburn.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, but we're talking about Sheffield Wednesday.
He was sub.
Yes.
I'm talking about the first time I remember seeing him.
This is not about you, Ian.
No.
This is not about you.
I scored 2 goals. I scored 3 and you know this.
Did you score 2 against Blackburn?
Yes, 2.
Yes, exactly. I remember
goals.
2-0 away from home, but I remember him playing a pass.
No.
With the outside of the right foot.
It was unbelievable because I remember it perfectly. Because I think the ball came. He played a 1-2 with played a 1-2 with Merce, wasn't it?
With Merce.
Merce played it, and then the ball came, and this is Patrick hit outside of the right foot.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. It's just
Outside the right foot.
Yeah.
outside the right foot
Just a
from the
fact,
left
yeah.
hand side.
I need to see video evidence of this.
Honestly, you got to get the goal from here, and he passed it in and took out the defender. Obviously, my touch and finish was amazing, but the ball from Patrick was where you've realised it's different levels. I remember there's another chance. What didn't used to happen a lot for us is that I remember Patrick broke from, we played against Wimbledon, broke from our half, and like normally they get the ball, then they pass it to the side and pass it. But Patrick was one of our first midfielders who's able to run with it and progress, and to the point where then he could slip me in. And you know, these are the chances I was starting to get now. You know, a midfielder who can see you, whether it's from 20 yards away or you run it through and pass it through to you.
What was he like when you first came in? How was Wrighty?
What do you mean? What was right? He
was crazy. It was something that I never seen before in the house. Different character, personality. Anyway, every club that I went, I never met somebody like.
So,
Good thing or bad thing?
Good things.
Yeah.
Yeah, good things.
You always want a goal scorer in your team, don't you? No matter how mad, even if they're late for training. You forgive a goal scorer, don't you?
Patrick, I played with England with Tony Adams. He was a massive influence on me, actually, in terms of how he played, how he sort of organised the back four. Always, what was he like at Arsenal? Obviously, you came into Arsenal. What was his influence on you?
He was the main man. Mm-hmm. Just the way that he was standing in there in the dressing room, or when he was leading the team, working through the tunnel, you said he's a true leader. He's a true leader. That's what I call a real captain. You know, he will take his responsibility. He's really vocal, and on the field, of course, he's got this kind of leadership. He's driving the players. Mm-hmm. But I loved Tony, how he was in the dressing room.
He got criticised a lot in his career, didn't he, Tony Adams? Maybe, did we give him enough credit?
England,
maybe
maybe
England stuff, yeah, the
times.
media would kind of, poke fun at him quite a bit, wouldn't they? Maybe
Yeah, the donkey stuff. Didn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah,
And I
that's
think that was
what I mean.
after that tournament in '88 where England would.
yeah, but we're talking about Van Basten.
Exactly.
I know.
Tearing into pieces.
But maybe us as opposition players, maybe still don't give. You've played with him, obviously, with England.
Yeah.
Maybe don't give Tony Adams enough credit. Maybe.
I think he's a type of players who make everybody, especially the defense, better because of the way that he's communicated with them.
I always think the best centre backs. They can carry a back four.
Yeah.
And Tony Adams did that.
He's one of them,
You think of Lee Dixon, Nigel Winterburn, brilliant for us, but they weren't international players. Really. They didn't play for England.
But not just being smarter, Jamie. Tony Adams, a top defender, they have people around them.
Yeah, of course.
They don't
But
get isolated.
smart
They have
people as well, yeah.
sitting at the full back, she's sitting going, don't isolate me. I think that's just football intelligence.
But I also think when someone's that good at a centre-back, it almost feels like not anybody could play with them, but they can carry them through a game. I think for me, when I judge centre-back, it's not like, I get the checklist, he's great in the air, he's quick, he's good on the ball, all this stuff. The real best ones, they have leadership qualities where it feels like no matter who, basically the person playing next to them plays the best football they've played because they're alongside this one. They
Tony
feel
had
safe.
that.
Yeah.
Tony had that.
Yeah.
And he's as well, he could recognise when we're in the game and it's not going well, and everybody just stay. Yeah. Don't go Patrick, don't go Manu, just wait. Let's get the steam off of this.
Was Emmanuel Petit the perfect? He looked like the perfect partner for you.
Yeah.
Was he the perfect partner?
Yeah, he was. He was because at that time I was quite really young, so I was developing myself as a player. So I needed somebody next to me who can drive me, and Manu was a perfect player for me at that time because with his quality, I think we were quite really good together because he technically was a better player.
And he was
left, I was right, and he was creative on that. He was more going forward than myself, so I was more focusing on the defensive side, and Manu can drive himself a little bit more. And then when I had Gilberto, who was more defensive, that allowed me to go a little bit more forward. But at that time in my career, having Manu next to me was the best.
I saw him a few weeks ago, didn't we? We saw him at a game.
At the game?
He's big, isn't he? I didn't realise how big he was.
Massive,
Big guy, man.
He's big, massive.
They all were.
Yeah.
in those early days, Roy, obviously, you wouldn't fear any opponent that you played against, but that was probably one of the best partnerships that you played against.
Yeah.
What was it that was difficult about Patrick and Emmanuel Petit that was difficult
Well,
to play
what Patrick just mentioned there, obviously they were big, strong and physical, did a nice balance to their team. Obviously Patrick being right-footed, big, strong boys, they could deal with the ball, they were experienced. And we knew, obviously, any time we played Arsenal, particularly against their midfield, we'd have to bring our best game. And that's the most respect I can give players or teams I played against them. I knew when we played in Arsenal, particularly midfield, I'd have to be at my very, very best. But the two players, the two of them in midfield were, it caused you all sorts of problems. The technical side of it, the physicality, the pace, the quality. Yeah, I don't want to get too carried away. But yeah, they provide you with all sorts of challenges.
But your battles with each other, your games against each other, will go down in folklore as one of the great sort of titanic struggles, obviously, of a generation, really, in terms of the fact that obviously Arsenal was successful, Manchester United was successful. What was it specifically? Who do you think came out on top in those battles? No, I'm asking serious now in terms of in games. Was the games where you thought, he's done me today? He's done me today. Or were the games where you thought...
Of course, yeah, there was a few battles you'd lose out in a few, yeah. But it was just, again, I think when players come along, like Patrick, they would bring the best out of you. That's what the game's about. You'd have to, I go back to it, you'd have to bring your best game, your A game, or else you'd be found out. Who won more battles? Obviously, it's very difficult to listen. Obviously, Patrick would have had his good days, and I had some good days. But I think the clashes were, I certainly enjoyed them. I think
Did you not used to shake hands afterwards?
I think so. Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, I think I didn't have any issue with the issues I have with midfielders who I felt were sneaky or up to no good. I think with the battles I had with you, Patrick, I think were pretty honest battles.
Honest. That's what I was going to say.
There was nothing sneaky about it. It was, again, we'd be hitting each other. But I don't remember too much argy-bargy on the pitch. It was very much you hit me and I hit you, and we get on with it. That's the way I felt. I don't know if you felt any different.
No, I loved it. Honestly, it was, I believe, the best period in my career regarding when we play against United all the time. And every single game that we played against each other, it was like, you have to be ready for it. Because he will not gonna lift his feet, he's gonna go for it. So I have to be prepared, I have to be ready to go into those challenges. But I think, yeah, it was more challenging because I think we have the same kind of quality, I would say. We are competitors, we are winners, we don't like to be done on the field. And of course, when two people like that come together, and it became quite really challenging.
Yeah.
But at the end, I think it was about the respect, and I never had any kind of nastiness. I never felt any kind of...
Pardon?
No, but when I say nastiness, what I mean is that I didn't felt anything from behind.
Yes, he's not going to do him, Gary.
It's not going to be doing behind my back. Everything will be like face to face, and of course I wanted to win. He wanted to win, and I think we had. When I was going on my side, when I was going on the field, I was said to myself that I believe that if I manage to win that duel against you, that will help the teams to play with more confidence. So I will say if I get on the top of you, that may going to help the teams to believe that we can win those kind of games. So it was some good ones.
What would Arsene say to you before the game? Anything that you can remember about specifically playing against Roy or Paul Scholes in our midfield?
Have a go at that Gary Neville is.
He's a winner. We're going to come on to that. We're just dealing with the proper stuff first.
No, good. No, Arsene wasn't.
But what would Arsene say?
Arsene will never going to say something specific. It was more about to concentrate on the game. On the game and not get carried on by the challenges that can happen. It was more focusing on the football and try to play the game, but never any kind of advice how to conduct myself on the field. No.
I mean, we'll come on to the sort of when it got sort of a little bit more fraught, and I think that was probably when you started to become more successful against us. I think there was a time where we realised actually we had to stop you playing football. There was a period where your football was, I felt, superior to ours. Maybe it was towards the end, maybe that Invincibles type team, when we struggled for a few seasons. And we definitely came out to be aggressive against you. We definitely came out to stop you. We knew that if we let you play, we were dead. Around that time, it seemed to get a little bit more angry. Did you feel that we were being overly aggressive against you and that we were getting away with things?
No, I felt that through the years, of course, I think United were more aggressive. Tried to intimidate us a little bit more. But we take it as...
Compliment?
Compliment,
Yeah.
because we felt that we were getting closer to you. Yeah. Because the target was, if we want to win the league, you have to finish above United. So we were training every day. We were playing the game, and the target was United. How do you get there? So all this kind of, and I think it was as well driven by the press, because it was this kind of me against you, Arsenal against Sir Alex Ferguson. So everything was created to really have those two teams to be really competitive. And more we were getting closer, and more we felt that United were more aggressive. And that was a compliment to us, because that means we were quite really close.
Did you feel that, Roy? Obviously, we took them on. I think we took them on punch for punch, probably 98, 99, 2000. But it got to a point where do you remember the point where sometimes Fletch would come into midfield and we'd start to play 5 in midfield rather than play 4-4-2? We changed our system slightly to play against you to compensate for things. Did you feel that we were
Maybe,
having
of course. Yeah, they were making progress. They were making progress as a club, and obviously Patrick, these players were maturing and getting more games under their belt. But I probably wouldn't agree that. I know there was a few incidents, a few games where Phil and
John O'Shea, I think, were in midfield.
And played in midfield, but Phil, on a certain day, was really aggressive and probably could have been sent off, and he went after 1 or 2 people. But I don't think it was ever in my mindset that we have to... to me, I always felt we had to be physical. I don't think there was any time in my career at United where I felt, no, we really have to start kicking these or be a lot more aggressive. I think that was always my mindset. But I think there's definitely a few games or a few incidents where Phil... I think I missed that game. I wasn't playing that game where there was... Phil certainly was like a kamikaze pilot.
The only thing I thought, right, we didn't change for many teams our system. We did after 2002-03 when Sabre came in, but they were the one team that I felt we did change slightly for when we actually beefed up midfield. Do you understand? We changed for them, which is very unusual for us to do that.
That's called probably respect, and again a compliment to the opposition. But also, you have to be prepared to change, because we knew maybe if you proper 4-4-2 against Arsenal, then they would pick you off and isolate you, and they'd pace and physicality or whatever. So I think to me that's all pretty normal, getting that extra body midfield. We've done it the odd time in Europe, of course, against the brilliant teams. But Arsenal would make you think that way and going, we need to get extra cover in there, particularly people who were good enough to pick us off.
I think that Arsenal team from... so I think you won the league in 2002. I think United won it in 2003. And I'll be honest, I think you was probably... I don't know if you look at it, maybe you threw it away that season, and you've done the Invincibles in 2004. All the teams we played against, or I played against, even in Europe, I think that 2 or 3 year period there for Arsenal was the most difficult, the toughest team I'd ever played against. And I've always said this, you said before about how big the team were. Probably the only team I've stood in the tunnel and made you feel smaller in the tunnel. You were actually you just look across and think, wow, the quality of players. I always think about Bergkamp. Bergkamp was like 6'2", his shoulders were like that, and he was supposed to be like the silky fella. Do you know what I mean? And it's the only thing I remember it for 2 or 3 seasons I played against Arsenal, and it affected me mentally. Sort of, you're up against Henry physically in the tunnel. So even if you play United, they're better than you. But you still think, okay, we can do this, and we can maybe find a way to nick the game. We might play in the counter-attack, or we can nullify them there. The Arsenal team,
and you know what they had as well, Jamie?
The pace.
Pace.
The pace.
People underestimate. I know we'll highlight it now, but they had players who could fucking run. I mean, really run. So even when you squeeze up the pitch or whatever, they had players who had a good mix. We talk about the physicality all day, but they had quality to go with it. But the pace was
the pace of Overmars
and Henry.
Overmars and Anelka.
And there's an Anelka.
And then Henry.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
lightning
98 with Bergkamp and Anelka.
Overmars was the quickest player I've ever seen.
And they had the runners, but they had the lads and the quality to pick them out as well. It's not like they were headless chickens. They were making great runs and picking you off.
I mean, how disappointing is it for you that if you think of that team 2002 to 2004, that you didn't win the Champions League? Because for me, I'm trying to think who won the Champions Leagues in those years, but you were... Well, Porto won it one year, didn't they? What was that? Was that 03 or 04?
Real Madrid won it with beat Ballack in the final one year.
Well, you must be thinking that you're the best team in Europe then, or in the best 2 or 3 teams in Europe, and you never really came close.
I believe that we were missing something because we never managed to win the league twice in a row.
Okay.
And if we didn't, it's because we were missing, I believe, a little bit of, I don't want to say the nastiness, but we maybe get carried on after winning the title. But the big disappointment from those 9 years at Arsenal is we didn't manage to win the league back to back. And with the squad and the team that we had at the time, we should manage to do it. And if we didn't, we were missing something.
Bigger squad? No.
Maybe bigger squad, maybe more the nastiness. When I say nastiness, maybe that is something that was missing. Ruthlessness. Yes. Maybe that is something was missing from Arsenal.
You should have signed me.
We'll be winning 2 or 3 times in a row. But that is, I think we are missing something. I think that is a bit disappointment not to win it back to back.
Yeah, Jamie just said it was the toughest team he played in 2002 to 2004. We were actually okay against that team. I felt we had a decent record against that team. I actually felt I struggled more. Maybe I don't know whether you felt the same, Roy, with the 98 team. The one with Overmars, obviously the 2002 to 4 was Perez up against me. Who do you think was the better team? The one that had the famous back 5 in with yourself, Emmanuel Petit, Overmars, Parler, Bergkamp and Elka, versus then the one with Sol Campbell and obviously Gilberto Silva, Henry. But which one do you think was the better team when you look at both of them together? We played against both. You played against both. You've seen.
I think the 98 was more competitive.
More aggressive.
More aggressive.
Yeah.
Less quality overall.
Yeah.
But they are competitors, so we can go somewhere. We may not going to play well, but I think it was 98 we managed to win a lot of games 1-0 because of the pace up front of people making a difference. And I think that generation with Sol Campbell and Thierry, they were more quality players in there, more creativity, more better player in the 1v1. They were more. The technical level of that team was much higher. For football-wise, that generation was better. But mentally, the 98 was much
Can I just say, the 98 team was... do you remember you'd won the league, I think, with 2 games to go, and before the cup final, you came to Anfield, and I think you were on the bench. We won 4-0, but the league was finished. Do you remember that game?
Cherry and we were all on the bench, no?
No, I don't think Thierry was there then. This was 98.
98?
Yeah, you played in the game.
Anelka was there.
You got injured your ankle.
I did, I got to.
I was in midfield with Incy, and you came on sub, I think, for maybe the last 15 minutes. And I must be 19, 20. I'm thinking, I'm going to do him when he's back home.
You must say the same thing as well.
I was in midfield with Incy.
Why? Why did you want to do that?
Because he's Patrick Vieira. I'm this young kid. I'm thinking I'm going to leave one on him. I'll never forget this. You got the ball by the bench, but you were right on the touchline, you know what Anfield, right by the bench, right on the halfway line, so there's nowhere for you to go. So I can see the ball on the way to you, you stood there, and I'm already on my way, and I think he's getting it. And I've come in like a train, and you just rolled your foot off the ball like that, and I've been sliding off the pitch. And it's always stuck, you know, you think, the great play, you just like, you know, it's a little lesson. You know, you think, calm your, you know what I mean? Calm down. You think you're going to leave someone and just like, get back to right back.
Stay in your lane.
Exactly.
Yeah. So which team then? 98 or the Invincible team? If you had to choose one.
The Invincible.
Yeah.
Invincible.
I wish it was Invincible. Because that was a really good generation of players. We really enjoyed playing together. The quality of the games, the way we were playing, and Robert was fantastic. Robert was fantastic.
He used to fall over a lot, though, didn't he?
When you kick him from behind, you have to fall down. So you don't have a choice.
It was always from behind, wasn't it? Yeah. It was always the wrong side. You kick him straight on.
we're going to go to the tunnel incident, Patrick.
Which one?
Where is it? Which
Well,
one?
you're gonna have a look.
We're going to have a look. So we're going to show you the tunnel incident.
Show it, Gary.
And to be fair, I'm not, because we've all seen the tunnel incident before, actually. Oh, gee. It'd be wrong not to show it.
What,
But-
you just shine it for back? Because the people can't see this.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get the... There we go. So before I show it, the context of this is that, and this is the thing that I think I remember at the time. So we're warming up before the game. You imagine, so this didn't start here in the tunnel, right? We're warming up before the game, as you do. You know, I'm practicing my headers. Patrick's doing what he's doing over there. So I run down the tunnel at Highbury, tight tunnel. You know the tunnel, and I can hear all of a sudden, like a doom, these thuds behind me, and him shouting my name. Or you, or something like that. And he ran up behind me in the tunnel and he went, "You won't kick our fucking players today," or something.
Yes.
Do you remember that, Patrick?
That was planned.
Planned by who? You?
No, by me. Yeah.
Or by Arsene Wenger?
I said no.
No.
The boss wasn't like
the
that.
boss
That's
wasn't like that.
Yeah.
No,
So
no.
was it because of the game at Old Trafford earlier in the season, or was...
Because of the 9 years I spent there. I didn't like you at all.
Man United or Gary Neville?
Hey, that's a victory. that is a massive success.
He's just got that
It's a win-win.
No, but it's true. Honestly, I couldn't stand you because you were just kicking everybody, and especially Robert.
You
when
sure
he
it wasn't
was there.
Phil?
No, it was him.
Okay.
100% sure. And at that game, I was just like, I have to
Make him know.
make you aware that today you will not going to touch Robert, because I knew that was the plan for you, because you struggle against Robert. And when
He struggled against me.
and he was like, no, today I will have to tell you, leave him alone.
Did Robert
Because
say
I
anything
felt-
to you about it? Or
No,
did you just okay.
no. But I felt that you were over the top against him.
The game earlier on the season
You
at
know,
Old
you
Trafford,
were-
to be
you were
fair,
over
we,
the top.
to
You
be
were
honest,
over
it got to the point where we were aggressive. That left side of Arsenal was
and
unbelievable.
Robert was quite really nice. He just stepped up
not
and he's
gonna
just
say-
like, but
Yes.
he's too nice to complain.
Yeah.
And I think at time you went over the top. It was too much and it was too obvious. And obviously because of United controlling all the referees and all the stuff like that. So
That's illegal. That's the first ever lawsuit on Stick to Football.
so you had so much power that you were allowed to do what you really wanted to do. So it was, for me, I had it planned in my mind. It was like, the warm-up, I see you going to the tunnel, I will run after you.
So you've watched me run from the far side.
I saw you running, going into the tunnel, and I just run behind you. And I just wanted to make you aware that today will be different, and it will be something that
Do you
will
think
not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, so I went into the dressing room. It was.
What did you say when he said
Yeah,
that?
because he didn't say anything about it.
No, because he was.
It was
back-
quite really fast, really quick. He was like,
Yeah, it was
getting
like,
through
yeah,
the
it was
end
a
of the
tight tunnel. I was at the top of the tunnel. He's coming at the bottom of the tunnel. I thought, I went to the dressing room and I used to sit next to him. Peter would sit there. I would sit. I would be next. Then it was Dennis. Then it was Roy. And I think I said to Dennis and Roy, I said, Vieira just had a go at me in the tunnel. He's just had a pop in the tunnel, which was, I mean, that's the first time that's ever happened in my life. So then obviously we walk out and this happened.
How did you say it though, Gal? Did you say Vieira's just had a popper in the tunnel?
No,
Vieira's just had a popper in the tunnel.
It was one.
You said something like that, but I think I said just get on with it.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
So why did you get wound up in getting involved?
Let's
You
hear it.
shouldn't get involved in that.
I know.
Oh no, hang on. Sorry,
That's not it.
We've gone too far.
You've gone way too far.
Where are we?
Here we
Here we
go,
go.
Gary. Here we go.
This is as Roy goes back up the tunnel.
Right.
So just to give you more context.
Up the tunnel.
So give you the context again. So this is what happened, right? So Arsenal are in the tunnel when we get there. So we walk down. I'm fifth, always fifth in line. Roy walks down to the bottom towards the referees. Patrick is doing his laces halfway up the tunnel. You remember this or not? He's doing his laces up the tunnel. So obviously he's waiting.
He didn't have to do that.
How did you do laces up? Show me how you do laces up.
So Roy's gone past him, and you've then started again in the tunnel.
Right.
And then Roy then comes back, and obviously that's when it all sort of
Right,
like kicks
right.
off. I can't remember what you said to me in the tunnel. Did you say the same thing again?
I said the same things again. I will say to you that today you will not going to touch him, because if you touch him, I will go after you.
Yes.
And then Captain
But
Roy.
there was something happened there because I definitely had to go back. I came down and there was something going. I knew there was noises, but I had to go. I forgot the armband, so I went back. I had to go back up. That's why I went back up the tunnel to get my armband
he
up.
squeezed a water bottle at you. I thought because you had a Lucozade bottle in your hand.
At me? No, I don't think. No.
I thought you did. So someone did. I always thought that.
No. But when I came back up then the second time, I knew something had gone on,
Yeah.
and obviously what you said previously. So I was I was more, but I was quite relaxed with it actually. No, I was, because I never used to get involved in stuff like that. I've heard stuff I've never got involved in stuff in the tunnel. Or I'm going to do, never.
But Roy, when I see that one, you do look a lot more agitated about when you're saying, right,
Well, I was agitated because I felt.
So here we go. You just said you started all this.
To who am I saying that?
I think that's to Patrick.
All right.
Yeah.
I wish I was.
I'd put you down. I'd put you on your backside.
You wouldn't have seen me coming, Gary. You wouldn't have seen me coming.
No, but do you know what my annoyance would be a little bit? Is that you've gone after Nev. You've gone after Gary.
Yeah, because he's the one who's.
I know that, but you go after one, you go after all of us, isn't it? It's that, you've got to have that attitude. So my annoyance would be you're going after Gary.
I can't see it, Gal.
The referee, what's his name again?
Look at Roy. Look,
I'll see you out there.
He lost it. You lost it here.
He said no, he said he should have sent me off.
He should send you.
Is that what Paul's saying?
Yeah, he said he should have
He should have sent you off. Look, you're not even listening to him. Look.
Shouting his fucking mouth off.
Look at Roy. Look. Look
I
at
was
Roy's
fuming.
face.
I was annoyed with it.
Yeah, you snapped there.
Yeah, I was
Was he
annoyed with
re-
it.
What's the shake hands here?
I said earlier
Yeah.
about Patrick and Arsenal. There would be that.
Are you squeezing him or is he squeezing you?
No, I'm holding him and saying I'm not letting go. You know what I mean? Just to say.
Yeah, but now you understand it from Patrick's point of view now.
Patrick
Because like
was-
whatever.
Of course, but Patrick was the enemy back then. He's not the enemy now, but he was then.
But during that game, I actually don't think we came near each other that much, to be honest with you. But what I do remember, the first goal. Who scored the first goal for Arsenal?
You stayed in the corner. Don't worry about that. No overlap.
Who scored the first goal for Arsenal? I can't remember who it was.
Ended
Anyway,
up 4-2, didn't it?
Arsenal scored.
You won 4-2,
Yeah, Arsenal
yeah?
scored the first goal, and Ashley Cole must have also been in on it. Ashley Cole must have known because he came over to me.
right,
And he shouted at you.
No. I mean, I knew Ashley really well. I got on well with Ash, screaming in my face. There, you. Honestly, proper going for it. I was like,
Don't say
But
that.
if he put everything in the mix that night, we gone about the importance of winning that game. It was a night game. There
Was that
a bit of
Cristiano
turnover.
Ronaldo game? Was that the one?
No, Shazy scored.
Shazy scored late on.
Yeah, I think you're right. Ronaldo might have got a couple.
He scored a beautiful goal.
You scored actually, Patrick, the
I
first
scored
goal.
one. The first one?
First goal, yeah. I was being
A
told.
set piece from.
You scored as well?
No.
You didn't
not
score?
this game. No.
You sure that's the one with Patrick?
Ronaldo.
scored?
Yeah, Patrick scored first
no,
goal.
that's 4-2. Ends up 4-2.
Yeah.
We lost 4-2.
Did you score from a corner? Or was it?
Ronaldo scored twice.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Giggsy
Was
put
it?
one in from. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4-2. Yeah.
Yes.
But I just felt, I mentioned earlier, but I just felt there was always that element of respect with us and obviously hatred and rivalry and personality clashes. But when they were doing that in the tunnel, I just felt that's the bit that would annoy me as a player. And I just thought, no, that's what I was probably annoyed at. Hold on a sec, I don't mind going to battle out on the pitch, but not all this stuff in the tunnel. And I just felt I felt from our point of view, I just felt Gary was an easy target. And that's why I would be. No, I
You know what? I wish I was involved in it because I would have definitely been at the back saying, "You shut your mouth." I'd have definitely loved to be.
And you know what I said? I said, well, I'll see you outside.
Brilliant times. It's brilliant.
Did Arsene say anything after the game? Or
Definitely sneaky.
you'll have been there. You'll have been there with Pizzagate as well, won't you? Were you there in Pizzagate when the pizza?
Yes, I was there, yeah.
Just obviously there was around that time. That was
Sorry.
That wasn't the start of the rivalry, but that's when it started to get. It went beyond football rivalry, obviously. And then the Pizzagate happened. Was that the season after that? And Martin Keown jumping in front of
with Rude.
obviously Rude's face.
Brilliant.
No, Pizzagate was before that,
No,
wasn't it?
Pizzagate
was
Pizzagate
before
was
that.
Yeah.
Pizzagate was stopping their
Wasn't
run
that
there,
Cesc?
Oh yeah. So what happened with Pizzagate?
That was after the game. I think everybody was in the corridor.
Well, I wasn't there, sorry.
No, you didn't make any trouble at that time.
No, I was-
But it was like everybody was in there.
I was eating a pizza.
Was it Fabregas that threw the pizza? That's where.
Yeah, it was Cesc who threw the pizza.
Says.
Yeah, but he threw the pizza, but I don't think he knew where the pizza was going to end up. But like you said, that was the beyond the game.
Yeah.
It was, I think, like it started to be really like love and hate.
Yes.
between the two clubs.
What
but
would
between
Arsene
the
say
two
around
players
that?
as well.
What would Arsene say around these types of moments? Obviously, he wasn't a fighter. You know, Sir Alex was. He was more of a combative.
Yeah, but Arsene was like that as well. He didn't show it, but inside him, he had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had that inside him. So in those kind of period, it was just about. But Arsene wasn't really like vocal in the dressing room. He was more really calm and really composed and controlling his emotion.
Yeah.
But he was then dealing with it afterwards in a training ground. He will take 1-2 players. He will talk about it. But overall, he will never gonna.
He was really competitive, wasn't he?
He is really competitive.
You know the
He
thing
is
with
a-
him as well is that one of the things that which was unbelievable to all of us when Arsene took over. Remember, at half-time, you know, the manager comes in and he's like, he wouldn't speak for like 10
minutes. He was just going to speak the
not
last
say
5 minutes.
anything.
What, half-time he would speak?
At half-time.
Houllier was like that.
Wouldn't say a word. So you come in, you know, we're just used to coming in and sit down and waiting for the manager to come in and he'll say, yeah, right. You'd come in and sit down and it'd just be silence.
It must have been a foreign manager thing, because I always remember the first time I ever saw that was Sven-Goran Eriksson used to come in at half-time, and it was Steve McLaren who was his assistant, and he said, "You've got 3 minutes to get yourselves together." And the idea was that he hated the idea of when players come in, the staff still walking off the pitch, there's people getting drinks, there's physios giving strap-ins, there's people being... Let all that go, let everyone calm down, and they'll come and deliver what it is. Was that the thinking with
That's what I was
Arsene as
thinking
well?
about. Arsene will give you the first 5 minutes and sometimes even longer, and he's just going to come and speak the last 5 minutes.
It's brilliant.
We didn't get 5 minutes, to be fair. We wouldn't get 5 minutes, no.
That worked every game. Every manager.
And the other thing, with the boss, if it was a big one, like at half-time, it'd be, if someone came in late, the fuck have you been? Sit down!
Yeah.
You know, it'd be a proper, like, everyone's got to be sat down. You knew you had to be in, sat down, get your, you know what I mean, forget your drink, forget your physio. It was one of them.
And never angry.
The boss?
Never, no matter what, our boss.
Oh, sorry, what was I saying?
Never angry. I remember it's only the latter stages coming towards the end when he was getting ready to leave, and you see him animated on the side and angry. I'd never see him angry at half-time, no matter what the score was. Never angry, always calm.
But would the players be saying something while he's having his 5 minutes? No, would the players
It's just,
be
yeah,
quiet?
Tony might say something.
How would Tony be? Because I mean, Tony was, to be fair, in the England dressing room, was really vocal. I can't believe Tony would come in at half-time and just sit there quiet while Arsene would
No, because
wait for
you start to get used to the silence. So Tony would be silent as well. But then as it started going, then he would start come around and he'll say to you, listen, but it was a time where we in the end you started to look forward to, because you could just not hear nothing. Whereas when George Graham would come in and he just started slaughtering and swearing at everyone. No one's looking up, because if you give him eye contact, then he'll pick on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Was Martin Keown not vocal at half-time when he came in?
Yeah, but Arsene is the one who really driving the atmosphere in the dressing room. So even sometimes we were just between us, the players, and Arsene will be in a different room. And then when he will come back later, just to adjust 1 or 2 things, and then it's gone. And of course, the first 5 minutes, nobody will talk. And then you will have Tony, or you will have Martin, we'll always have some things to say. But overall, he was quite really calm and always been calm.
You do that,
what,
Patrick, as a
Martin,
manager now?
Martin.
Do you do that?
I do that as a manager. I quite liked it as well.
You just have the 5 minutes of chilling out,
A
yeah?
little bit longer.
I remember sometimes when
But the first 5 minutes, I let them by themselves, and I come back just for the last 10
I
minutes.
remember sometimes when the boss would, because Martin would go and he'd be like, because he's pumped up. And I remember the boss would say, Martin, shut up, Martin. Yeah, you'd have to tell him to shut up, you know what I mean? Because Martin would just go, you know?
In terms of, is your dream to get back into the Premier League as a coach? Because that's, you said before, everyone wants to coach in the
I
Premier
would
League.
love to go back to the Premier League. It's the best league. And this is where you have the best coaches, this is where you have the best player. It's the best entertaining league. So obviously, yes, I would love to go back to the Premier League one day.
And it sounds too easy, but is Arsenal their almost ultimate job that one time in the future you'd like to be able to do?
Or City, with your City group link as well.
Yeah, I had the chance. I played for Inter. You know, I would love, of course, the aim will be to manage one of the teams that I played for, who played the Champions League football, and try to win a title. So that will be my aim. That will be my drive. This is my drive.
Do you like me now?
There's-
Sorry, I had to get that out.
Everyone likes someone who's paying them.
There's a song you say, do you like me now? No, there's a song now.
You like me now. What's the song? Like me now.
What's the song?
Do you like me now?
There's a song like that. Do you like me
Create one
now?
if you
No,
want.
it should be playing the song now. Do you like me now?
That's how the podcast should go out. That
You
song.
like me now.
I'm going to ask you about Zidane. I mean,
Dad?
I'm going to eat some sweets.
Beautiful.
Go on.
I've spoken enough.
I mean,
Zidane,
to watch, I mean, how good is...
No, but-
you're the best team in the world, you're World Cup winners, but he's just a jewel in the crown, is he?
When you are talking about Tony Adams that make the defenders better, but that is what I call Zidane, and that is the reason why he's the greatest. He's making everybody around a better player.
Yeah.
I was amazed by his quality, by his vision, by his technical ability, football understanding, and for us who play just behind him, it was easy to play with him. The quality of the ball, you feel like it's not a good ball, but he will look good because of the way that he will touch the ball. He's the greatest.
Brilliant player.
He's
He's the greatest.
Was it a surprise what he's done in management? You know, he's won is it 3 Champions Leagues he's won? I know he's just managed.
Yeah, he's not the most vocal person, but he's smart. He's smart. The way that he manages after football. He was an assistant coach. He wait for the right time. He stay around Madrid, and when the opportunity was there, he take the team. And Madrid, you always guaranteed to go to the quarterfinal, semi-final, and then having those players like Ronaldo make the difference at the big stage. He managed to wait and to be patient, and the decision was the right one just to go to Madrid. I think he had so many offers around, but he made the right one by choosing Madrid, and winning the Champions League was fantastic.
What's his next move?
I don't know.
Is he waiting for the French job? Is he waiting for Deschamps to move on?
I don't know, but it's not guaranteed that Deschamps will leave. Everybody was saying that he will be leaving in the last 5-6 years, but he's still
Hanging in there.
and he's been having success. And I know that a lot of people are complaining about the way the French team's playing, but at the end, when you're looking at the big competition, they're always in the semi-final, final, or they won it. Yep. So he's delivering. So there's no guarantee that Deschamps will leave after the Euros.
Wow.
There's some questions I think that have been sent in, Patrick. They're more quick fire. So, toughest opponent you came up against?
I would say Roy and the United midfield.
Because they were all kicking them.
Your dream five-a-side team?
Five-a-side
Yeah,
team.
you've got to pick. You're in it, so you're number 1.
Definitely Bergkamp.
Zizou?
Yeah, Zidane.
Thierry?
Your French is good.
Are you picking it or is he picking it?
It's just a great player. He's playing it. It's just like,
It's too many people. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Zidane, Bergkamp. I will go for Makelele
wow.
because you need people to run.
Yeah.
And I will put Henry up front. Only French players.
Wow.
Yes.
Biased. Yeah.
Oh, no. Anelka is sub because Anelka's one of the
Anelka
greatest
is,
swings I ever saw.
Yeah.
Your best friend in football?
In football, Lilian Thuram.
Lilian too. Yes.
I was going to shit my hand out then.
The great Lilian.
What started the vapor rub on your shirt?
Vicks.
I remembered that.
Yeah, it's just when I just helped me to breathe a little bit better, and then after is you do it once, you do it twice, and then it became a habit.
Yeah. Which player you've managed reminds you most of yourself?
None.
No, none of them.
Didn't you at the start I said he's a hybrid. No one's come before him. No one's come
none
after.
of them. But I used to like Diaby
Diaby at
at Arsenal.
Yeah, he was
I
good.
think he was going to be even a better player because I think he was more complete, he was more technical. I think he was more offensive, he has more quality in the last 30 yards. And the injuries that he had really stopped his progression. But Jabi was a really good one.
Last two before we do a little thing. Might be a tough one for you. Mbappe or Henry?
Jeez.
I never played with Mbappe,
Yeah.
and I will go for Henry.
First time I've seen it.
Yeah.
I will go for Henry.
And the last one, how do you think France will get on in the Euros?
I think France
Our favourite.
are favourite. I think I don't see any other nation who can beat France outside of England. I think England is the only nation who can beat France today.
And can they beat them? Will they beat them?
In one game, anything can happen. Obviously, they have the quality of talented players to do it, because I'm amazed by Phil Foden, what he's been doing. Bellingham, you have quality, you have talent there. So I think it's all depending as well about Keane, how he will be in the competition, because obviously you will need somebody up front who can score those goals that you will need. But I think England will have a good chance to be there with France.
Okay. Right, we're finishing with a quiz, 6 questions.
6 questions?
We're in the final. Who's the question?
Take that, please.
What are you doing?
What's that?
Take that, Roy. It's a Roy v Patrick quiz.
Nice. Let me see your picture. He's got a picture.
I think
of
you're going to
Patrick
take
as
it
well.
home,
Oh,
no?
you get options, yeah.
Oh, you get options. And right in.
There you go.
I'm-
Do you want to conduct this quiz, Ian?
I'll put
No,
this,
you do it.
I'll
No,
put
you
this
do it,
above my
Calvin.
fire.
Are we
Keep the
voting
grandkids
as
away from the
Oh, you
fire.
vote as well? Are they voting as well?
There's more of them there.
Why are you?
Go on, you can vote as well, but
We don't care.
Don't leave me and James out.
It's not a good picture of me.
You're
it's not a good picture. There you go. It's not a great picture of both of them, but... Right, here we go.
The budget.
Right.
Okay.
Budget.
Okay, so let me get over here. Who received the most yellow cards in the Premier League? Patrick or Roy?
Yellow cards.
You've got yellow cards. You've got to hold up, obviously, the face of the person.
Roy was there longer, wasn't he?
Yeah. No, I'm going to say Patrick. Is it close? Is it like close now?
Ian, are you going or not?
Yeah, I'm trying to think because Patrick got quite a lot in at the end.
No, I get a red
I'm
card,
going to
but
go with this one.
straight away
I'm
you
gonna
get
go
red
with this
card.
one. Roy Keane.
Patrick Vieira had 76 yellow cards in the Premier League.
No way have I got that. Nowhere.
Roy Keane had 69.
Exactly.
told you
Wow.
so. I
Told
saw
you.
him.
Told
Nice.
you.
Well, well done.
Hey.
And he called
And
me.
he complained
called
about
me
you
dirty.
kicking him.
Exactly,
He called me
thank you.
dirty. You know what I mean? 'Cause I'm kicking everyone.
We come back to the same things, referees again. You know what I mean? You had a massive impact on the.
Do you know something?
You had a massive impact on the referees.
I was going to pick you up on that. I was going to pick you up on that before, because do you know something? Before games we played against you, he used to say to us, "Get around the referee, because fucking Vieira and Co will be refereeing the game." He used to think you were refereeing the game.
Who?
I think you were
Our boss.
Alex
Yeah?
Ferguson.
Yeah, he would think
There's
you lot
no
were
chance.
Yeah.
No chance. Not against United.
Against United? Never. If you're looking back all the games that we play against United, you're looking at the players around the referees.
Referee. It was United.
How can you get
United
70
players.
odd yellow cards? What are you doing?
The quality of the referees in the league are not good again.
You've got to read the game.
Right.
Right. go on.
Interesting. Who provided the most assists in the Premier League, Patrick or Roy?
That's a difficult one.
It's amazing.
This is-
I honestly, it's amazing. Yeah,
Is it close, though? Is it close, the numbers?
It's very close.
5 or 6? Yeah.
In 9 years.
I'm going to go with Patrick.
You
I-
would.
I wouldn't. No,
You
I'm just,
would.
because I just went with.
I'm going to go with Roy.
I'm
starting to think about.
I'll go with myself.
Go with yourself.
My ego's kicking in.
Who you going for yourself? Go for yourself.
I don't know. I try to think about 1 or 2 assists that you make, and I don't have a lot. In
We'll soon find out.
Who are you going with, Patrick?
I go for myself as well.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. You've edged it.
So Patrick had 34 assists.
That's more than
Roy had 33.
One more.
Wow.
You see?
You're
I always
great.
said I was a better player.
yeah.
I'm telling you, you don't trust in me, but I'm telling you.
Nice one, Mike. Hey, just nice one. See.
Right. Who scored the most Premier League goals? Patrick or Roy? I have to say, this is the most fascinating answers that I've ever had. It's like quite
I've
intriguing.
been Roy 3 times. I've got to be right one of them.
I think Roy's got a, yeah.
Yeah, I think Roy.
Patrick can't be the right answer 3
sitting
times.
a lot more towards you.
No.
He can't be. It's impossible in the
Yeah,
career.
you score a couple of
Maybe,
goals.
maybe.
It's
Just,
never.
just to,
If it is, it would be pathetic.
Wow. Roy Keane scored 39 goals. Patrick scored 31.
Yes.
Okay, see, we were right. Me and Jamie were right.
Yeah.
I think this one's
sounds like I'm a better player than Pat. It's a great quiz, this.
He picked up the question. You organised it.
We done it last night.
Organised it.
FaceTime me.
I think this one's a little bit easier.
Go on, then.
Who had the most international caps? Patrick or Roy?
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Easy. You qualified for more tournaments, you see.
And I never walk out of that.
I was terrified to say that.
I left the pause for someone to fill it. And he filled it just as I started speaking.
Hey, no lies told.
We'd
there.
edit
Come
that
on.
bit out again, Patrick.
Right.
Patrick had 107 caps and Roy had 67.
I had injuries, cruciate.
Yeah.
I didn't play for 2 years after I fell out with the manager. He qualified for more tournaments, so I could have easily got well over 100.
And plus, you got Vex in one World Cup as well and left it. So we have to throw that in there because this wasn't his fault. It's Mick McCarthy's fault.
Right.
So,
Who had the most appearances in the Premier League?
It must be you.
Must be me. Just because I played long, I know I had injuries.
I'm gonna go.
Although
with
he came back.
Yeah.
I'm going with Arcade.
Roy had 366, Patrick had 307.
Wow. That's still a lot.
And last one,
It's quite a lot.
7.
who has won PFA Player of the Year?
Who has won it?
Yeah. Both, one, or none?
No, you never won it.
I never won it.
Ridiculous. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
Roy. There you go. It was a good quiz. It was a good quiz.
Really good quiz.
The real quiz.
We really won
What a
that.
player I was.
It made you both feel good.
Which year did you win that, Roy? 2000? When no one
Who
turned up?
cares when no one turned up?
None of his teammates came.
Stick to football more almost on loop. It's like a Peter Kay set. It just goes back to the beginning.
No one came.
Patrick, thank you so much for having me.
Brilliant.
It's amazing.
Nice, Patrick. Thank you.
Amazing.
Again,
Thank you.
nice to see
Thank
you.
you so much.
I love you so much, Patrick. Are we doing the picture? Where is everyone?
We're doing a big picture with everyone. Yeah, let's do it.
Who's Tottenham? Me or Patrick?
Merci, as they say. Thank you.
I really enjoyed. That's the best one. That's what happens when you move away from United. You get proper interviews.
It's true that there's always a United people in there.
No.
I watched in the show a couple of times and too many United people in there.
It's true.